Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banker Management, Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Whoa!
Woo from Japan.
Yeah. Korea, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're in Seoul right now.
Oh, wow,
By
okay.
day, I mean Jakey and his girlfriend because, yeah, I mean, listen, guys, for the next 2-3 weeks, it's going to be a duo on the Banger Management team.
That's
Jakey has
crazy.
abandoned us. He's pursuing a karaoke career in Korea. So when that doesn't work out, inevitably, he'll be back. But no, he's visiting a friend for a wedding, and then they're having a little vacation there. So in the meantime, you got the two best Banger Management hosts here to keep you company. And as that is said, welcome to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast with Kevin and Josh and Jakey.
In spirit.
In spirit.
Gone but not forgotten.
Exactly. And today we're going to be covering our Week 11 waiver wire targets and streamers. It's going to be a great episode. Listen, guys, we're recording this the weekend of the Quinn Hughes trade. So
Yeah.
we're going to go in depth in that on, the episodes that are going to be coming out this upcoming week in the news and the hot topics and everything. But Stuart Skinner getting traded and Quinn Hughes getting traded on the same day in
On
December.
a random Friday in December. It's crazy. Well, I mean, I was reading about it, and I think it's because there's like a roster freeze coming up for the
for
the
the
Olympic
holidays,
break
a roster
or the
freeze,
holidays, I guess, and then there's also the Olympic break and all that stuff. And I think that's why like GMs are like panicking. They're like, I can't make any moves so it's like a mini trade deadline. I think this is going to be another one of those years where the trade deadline's disappointing because all the trades get done beforehand, which sucks because I used to love, like tuning in for the trade deadline and you watch all the trades come in. And now it's all just like this fourth liner got traded for a 6th round pick. And you're like, okay, cool. How's this going to affect my fantasy team? But yeah, so this is crazy. I don't want to get into it too much, unfortunately, because we have a news episode just for that. Yep. So we'll leave it at that. But some crazy stuff happened last night, and it definitely has the hockey and fantasy hockey world jarred.
I mean, if I have to just give my... Oh, that's a good one. If I just have to give my immediate quick thoughts, I feel like anybody exposed to that, Minnesota power play 1 gets better off the bat.
Huge upside,
so Kaprizov, Erikssonek, Zuccarello when healthy, Boldy, and now Quinn Hughes. It just feels like that's going to be... They were already a top 5 unit performing that way as of late, so I feel like now it's just they're going to be cemented. For Rossi...
Vancouver sucks.
Vancouver is bad, guys. For Rossi, I feel like his deployment... I was answering a couple questions in the Discord. It's like, I feel like he's going to be like a line 2C, PP1, most likely. And PP1, I feel like is not even guaranteed. Yeah. But I feel like he most likely ends there because he's kind of like the main piece that they traded for. And does Bouillon get PP1 off the bat? I'm not sure. Like, they've had Hronek there before. Like, he's, replaced while Quinn Hughes has been hurt in the past. So I would not be surprised if they just roll with him there. Like, Bouillon wasn't even guaranteed PP1 on Minnesota, and they needed a power play quarterback as well. So
I'm not
a bad player. He's still young. Yeah. So we'll see. Like, if he gets PP1, I'll be interested, but I can't imagine how good that PPP power play points unit is going to be moving forward. So
for sure. And I mean, also, like, it's just a way worse power play than Minnesota's. And he was power play 1 quarterback on Minnesota for, on and off throughout the season and didn't do much with it. So I don't know why people are, I mean, any change of scenery, you jump on that, but I don't know why people are super excited, but I'd love for him to prove me wrong.
Yeah. Not super excited, but like intrigued is the good word, I think.
Yeah, that is a great word.
And quick thoughts on Stuart Skinner and Tristan Jarry, because this one bothered me because it was like, they kept telling us something. They were like, we're not making a trade unless it's a clear upgrade.
Yeah.
And whatever, blah, blah. And then they make the only trade that's like not a clear upgrade.
It's crazy. I mean, first initial thoughts in terms of real hockey is Penguins fleeced Edmonton.
Yeah.
Makes absolutely no sense. In terms of the 1-for-1, like, Edmonton traded a goalie who's pretty much the same skill but has higher upside. He's younger and he's paid less. They traded him for less. They traded him for a guy who has 2 more years on his contract, paid more, was on waivers a few weeks ago, and has a huge injury risk.
A few weeks ago, last year.
Yeah, and in addition to that, they had to throw in Brett Kulak, who's a very solid defenseman, and they had to throw in a 2nd-round pick?
2nd-round pick.
That's absolutely absurd. Like, honestly, like, someone take the phone away from Bowman and put him in a retirement home, honestly. Like,
it's disgusting.
It's actually just unbelievable, and so it sucks. But look, all that to be said, I could see Jarry doing well in Edmonton, and we lost Kevin for a second to technical issues, and this is a lot worse than when it's the three of us and I could at least keep talking with Jakey, because when Kevin tips, it's just me. But anyways, I could see Jarry actually doing solid. I mean, he's been solid, right? So it feels like an inevitable when are the wheels going to fall off. But if the wheels can get you to the finish line and then they fall off for the next 2 years, then everyone's happy. So look, I think it's a bad trade for Edmonton. I don't really see why they did it, especially because Skinner actually was playing well lately. But we'll see what happens. For both goalies, I don't think their fantasy value has changed that much. I think Edmonton's a team that should get more wins than Pittsburgh, but has worse defense. So it's kind of like, which one do you prefer? Like, do you prefer getting the dubs but getting more goals against? Like, who knows? So I'm not rushing to necessarily pick up either of these goalies. I mean,
you said rush to pick up Tristan Jarry.
The thing is, like, Jarry's been good, so, but I feel like he should already be taken at this point. So, yeah, I don't know. It's the intrigue, like you said, with the other one, right? It's change of scenery. Maybe that makes both these guys better. We'll see what happens. It's too early to tell, but it feels kind of like a lateral move for in terms of actual, like, this year product. But
I feel like both are worth picking up because of the new situation, and like, when you acquire a player from trade, it's because you want to play them.
Yeah.
So
sorry, they're worth picking up, but like I wouldn't drop an established guy on your team for them. If that makes sense. Like, I know, a popular one who everyone wants to drop these days is Decord, because he's been absolutely awful.
I'm not dropping.
Well. Yeah, that's tough.
That's
the
tough.
Decord I'm not dropping for either of these guys, but Markstrom. And I know New Jersey is supposed to be a way better team than Seattle, but they've been so bad. And Allen like stealing some starts. I could see dropping Markstrom for these guys.
Yeah, it just feels like that's a similar tier enough that even when Markstrom's playing on all cylinders, like he'll just maybe be just as good as one of these guys that's healthy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, let's get into the Week 11 streamers. We're going to talk about our Week 10 choices first. And, right before we get into it, if you've made it this far, we really appreciate it. I'm just going to shout out, follow the podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're listening and you're not followed, drop us a follow so that every time we drop a new episode, you'll be notified. It really helps us out. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, drop a comment, rate, say 5 stars in the comments. That's what we've been saying since the beginning.
Yeah.
And
what's funny with all that is that like I totally get why people don't do it. It's not like a malicious thing or anything like that. It's just like you don't think of it, right? And like no, not the comment, like the likes and the subscribe, because like it's actually kind of embarrassing, but like I'll watch like our videos, right, on like my personal YouTube account, and only recently I was like, wait, I should be liking these. I was like, so you know what? I fully understand. I fully understand if the viewers haven't been, but like if you make the conscious effort, you just get into the video, you just press that like button, super easy, and it does help us a lot. So yeah, but I totally get why people don't do it, because even I wasn't doing it for a bit. It's just you don't think about it,
too enthralled with the fantasy content.
Honestly, I'm just like, let's get into this. I don't want to waste time pressing that like button, but yeah, no, it's great.
And last thing, if you're not in the Discord community, you should be. If you don't know what Discord is, it's like an app, it's like a platform where the banger management community is. So if you want to join the community, there's a link in everywhere we are, on all the socials, in the podcast description here. You click on that link. If you don't have an account, just make an account, join, and you're set up. Then you get to talk with everybody else that's in the community there. We're approaching 200 people in there, so that's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
And then we're talking trade, start, sit questions, roster construction questions.
It's actually nuts.
All that good fun. All that good fun stuff.
Before we started this pod, right, and I was looking for my own fantasy content to have, I would have killed for a Discord like this. It's actually so valuable. It's just you're getting immediate answers to your trade questions. You're getting immediate answers to your sit start, everything. We're sharing people are actually turning on notifications for our breaking news channel because we share stuff right as it happens. And and that's a big deal when you're in a almost 200 person Discord. Usually you mute that chat and then you just check it on your own time. But the fact that people have notifications on for that is it's a big deal. Anyways, it's a great place to be. But let's get into our what the people want to hear. Let's get into the Week 11 streamers.
Josh, give us a quick rundown about the Week 10 choices from last week.
So let's get into the Week 10 choices. Last week we started with Patrick Kane. It's actually crazy. I don't know how much pull we have, right? But I own Patrick Kane in our league. Before we released our episode recommending Patrick Kane, he was, I think, 36% rostered.
Yeah.
And now he's like 51% rostered. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that was all us, but
No, it wasn't.
but like it's, you know, either we caused it or we're geniuses and predicted it. Or both.
I think it's both.
But yeah, exactly. Anyways, this is a huge W. I mean, anyone could have seen that coming. 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, and still has more hockey to play this week. I will say it's a bit like for our 1L this week that I'll get to in a second. It's a bit tough because we record on Saturdays, and so I take it from the last Saturday we recorded to when we're recording now. But there's still some hockey to be played this week. So, but anyways, I'll get into that in a sec. So Patrick Kane, big W. Then we had Josh Norris, 0 goals, 2 assists, 2 points, injured. Unsurprisingly, but it's only an illness, so he'll be back for a couple of games before the next
you said
one.
Injured. That's super misleading. He was sick, guys. He was sick.
Okay. Probably sick of being healthy, you know?
Yeah. He's still sick.
Yeah. No, so, but I mean, he got 2 points in the games he's played so far, so that's still a W, and it's only day to day. So, but I think we might have to stop recommending Norris in our top 3 just because of the squishiness.
If he's less than 40%, I'm still gonna keep recommending him.
I mean,
even
no,
if he plays 2 games, we're
still gonna keep recommending him, but like maybe not in the top 3 because we keep every time we do he gets injured. but yeah, so that was another dub, and then we had Owen Tippett, 0 goals, 1 assist, 1 point. I'm counting that as an L, but fact is he still has 2 more games to play this week, which is one of the reasons we had recommended him was the 4-game week. So I think that could turn into a dub over the course of the next 2 days. But look, we got to be extra honest with our fans. I'm going to count it as an L so far. So that puts us at 18-6 on the season. That's still a pretty unreal. I think that's a 75%. Win streak, which is pretty hype. But let's get into week 11. So there are no 2-game teams this week. This is actually a pretty crazy week where I think like half the league plays 4 times. I'll shout out one.
This to us.
I know, it's crazy because the week after that, every team plays like 2 times. So it's like it's weird, but I mean it's the holidays, so there's that. But I will shout out one 5-game team, which is the New York Rangers. So it's very rare that you have a 5-game team. It literally has to be Monday, Tuesday, and then you go to Thursday, and then you go to Saturday, Sunday. So that's the only possible configuration I think of a 5-game week. So
I will say the only shout out that I think is widely available for the Rangers that I would recommend picking up, because I don't think there's going to be any Rangers on our top 10 list given that they're all so highly rostered. But Alexis Lafreniere,
I was going to mention,
just got bumped up to line 1 instead of Will Cooley, and they're not running. Yeah, exactly. And sorry, that's what I meant. Power play 1 without instead of Will Cooley, and they're not running any power play 1 defenseman on there. So it's just 5 forwards. Mika Zibanejad is running the point. Listen, this is subject to change. We've seen them fiddle with this multiple times already. But if he keeps that spot and you're entering a week where he plays 5 times, like I couldn't see myself taking the chance on him given what he's supposed to be. And he's been a massive disappointment this season, but that's one of the widely available names that I would say,
absolutely. He's not in our top 10, but he definitely is I think a noteworthy. Put him as like an honorable mention. It's the schedule. Honestly, if it wasn't for the schedule, I wouldn't be mentioning him. But 5 games, you kind of have to stream a guy like that. So that is a great mention. The busy nights are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, as always. And there's just so many 4-game teams and 2 off-night teams. I'm not going to get into them. So let's dive into our top 10 points, guys, for this week.
Small Proface. So all these guys we're about to mention are less than 40% owned.
Of course.
So if there's a guy on your waivers that's more than 40% owned in your league, we're not going to be talking about them. They might be better than the guys we're recommending on this list.
I mean, chances are they probably are if they're higher owned, right?
So if you're like in a 10-team league or an 8-team league and you're listening to this episode and you're like, oh, I'm going to go pick up, the guy that they mentioned on number 3. Like we love this guy. But that does not mean that there's not better guys available for you specifically in your league. So just do your due diligence. If you have any questions or any doubts, honestly, join the Discord, shoot us a message there. We'll answer you so we can make these tiebreaker decisions for you. But I just wanted to make a preface there because I saw people 2 weeks ago pick up Bolduc when we recommended him, and that ended up being one of our worst recommendations because he got demoted right away on a 4-game week, played 7 minutes 1 game. Yeah. And the person was in a 10-team league, and I was just like, man, they picked up Bolduc, but there was guys Dylan Cousins available type of thing. You know what I mean? So it's just make sure you're making the right decisions.
In the Discord, and if you're in a shallower league, just shoot us a message on the Discord. Honestly, people have just been sending screenshots of their waivers, and we'll just choose their guys for them. So that's but definitely in deeper leagues, this is the place to be. Let's start with our
number 10.
Nice. At number 10, we've got Pavel Zacha of the Boston Bruins. On this list, I think there's a couple team repeats. So Boston, I think there's going to be another one coming up. But we'll start with, because they have a 4-game week. So line 2, power play 1, 4-game week. Look, he's not the most flashy name. He's definitely a lot more exciting in a face-off wins league because he gets face-off wins from a
Mm-hmm.
winger position. But 0.71 points per game on the season, 0.35 power play points per game on the season. The Boston power play is ranked 4th in the league. And it's actually funny because I remember talking with you, Kevin, about it before the season. We were talking like around where we were. It was like
Yeah.
it was like a debate of like, do we grab him, you know? And we were like, wow, but I feel like the power play is gonna be so bad this year, and compared
Yeah.
to some of those other top tier guys. And meanwhile, they
Mhm.
come out and they're just killing it. You look at all these like
Yeah.
Boston guys on that power play unit; they're all almost at like 0.4 power play points per game, and it's kind of nuts.
It's not sustainable.
It definitely feels unsustainable. But on a 4-game week like this, I'm definitely interested in grabbing a guy like Zaka.
Yeah, he doesn't have the highest peripheral category coverage, but yet he's always exposed to the highest talent on this team. Like line 2C, they don't have as much winger depth, let's say, but being on that PP1 and it's top 5 unit right now, 4-game week, great stream.
Yeah. And I mean, right now, I think last game they had finally combined their top line of Pasta, Geeky, and Elias Lindholm. But for a while, they wanted to Pasta and Geeky separate because they wanted to like spread out the wealth among the top 6. So if they do that again, then Zach is going to be playing with one of the two, and they're both unreal this year. I mean, Pasta obviously, but like Geeky is freaking sick. So that definitely helps his even strength. But regardless, the power play and 4-game week is enough to grab him. But let's go to the next one.
Number 9.
At number 9, we've got Anton Lundell, kind of like a staple on this top 10. He's always hovering around like 37% owned, so we always have to mention him. He's currently line 1 power play 2, but we saw him be power play 1 for big stretches of the year, and we'll see. He could get it back. I mean, Bennett's been pretty sick lately, so that might cost him power play 1, but regardless, he's still line 1 center on Florida. He's been playing unreal this year with Barkov's absence, as we mentioned every single week when we talk about him. It's a 4-game week for Florida, so it feels like a no-brainer to grab him.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's an argument for Lundell being higher on this list. It's just the power play 1 demotion really hurts his value. But let's say, as you're listening to this, he's practicing on PP1 again. Like, I'd bump him up significantly. Like, he's probably like a top 3 at this point.
100%.
So,
that's the big difference.
So we're taking that into account here, and we're putting him lower on the list. And also, like, we're going through a top 10, but that doesn't mean like number 8 is significantly better than number 9 or number 10. Like, there's definitely tiers to this, but it's also like these are mostly just the names that we want you guys to be aware of. Who fits your schedule better depending on the off nights and what you need position wise and everything. But these are the main names that you should look out for. Anton Lundell is up there. I think he gets back PP1 eventually, and with the Matthew Tkachuk coming back in the near future, I think this Florida team is getting ready to go on a run.
Yeah,
and I want to expose to their best center. So
100%. Okay, let's go to
number 8.
At number 8, we've got Luke Evangelista of the Nashville Predators. Spoiler: there's going to be 3 Nashville Predators on this list because they've just been unreal, and that's crazy because they suck, But they've been really good lately, and they've been really good lately, and they're on a 4-game week. Evangelista's line 1 power play 2. What makes him really interesting is his shots. I know on the season it's only like 2.2, but like over the past month, he's been shooting a ton. He's got 0.8 points per game on the season, which is super, super interesting. And he's only shooting at a 6% shooting percentage. So you kind of feel like there's more
to be had.
Potential. Yeah, exactly, there for points. So main reason he's this low on the list is the PP2. But I really like him as a player. And I like what Nashville's been doing lately. I mean, it helps when they play against St. Louis. Like, St. Louis is a free touchdown for like any team, it seems like. So that definitely helps pad the numbers. But I still 4-game week, and he's been putting up points and shots. So definitely an interesting ad.
Yeah, he's been on fire. If you look at the game log, like the points are there, right? And that's kind of like, okay, put sirens in your head being like, okay, this guy, I need to keep an eye on him. So on a week like this where he's playing 4 times, if he got PP1 exposure, honestly, like he may be a sick pickup because he was a highly touted prospect, one of the young players on Nashville that we were expecting more from this season, and that needs to do more for Nashville to not be like a dumpster fire. So we're starting to see glimpses of it. I think it feels inevitable until he gets PP1, especially once they probably start trading some of their vets to contending teams.
100%.
So with that, let's get into number 7.
Yeah, talking about guys who need to play well to prevent Nashville from being a dumpster fire, we've got Steven Stamkos. Yes, we are recommending a Steven Stamkos pickup in the year of our Lord 2025. I know I'm the biggest Stamkos hater, and I
You
don't think this
are.
is I don't think this is a long-term pickup. I know people are like getting like he woke up, whatever, He's line one, power play one, but I mean he's been that deployment since being in Nashville, so that's nothing new. They have that 4-game week, and he's coming off a 4-goal game. 4 goals. So
What year
yes,
is this?
I know it's crazy, and he's been shooting a lot. He's like definitely seems like he's woken up a little bit. Like I said, I still don't believe in this as a long-term season pickup, so I don't think this is the solution to all your team's woes. But it's hard not to pick up a guy on a 4-game week who just put up 4 goals. I mean, it's as simple as that, especially with his kind of like pedigree and who he's been in the past. So it's definitely an interesting pickup for the week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think you'll find bigger Stamkos haters than the two of us. But listen, you can't fault what's happening on the ice and what we're seeing in the stat sheet. So while somebody's putting up these numbers, they're worth a stream, and that's why we're recommending Steven Stamkos.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like, yeah, you gotta take into account that I'm not picking him up being like, okay, now I got, Steven Stamkos of old, and you hold him on
Yeah,
your roster too long because you're committed. You saw he scored 4 goals in one game, and you're just like still holding on to that. Like, as soon as he starts slowing down, guys, I'm cutting him and moving on.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of moving on,
Let's
number
go to
6.
nice. At number 6, we have John Klingberg of the San Jose Sharks, line one, power play one. Only 3 games this week. The reason we're highlighting him, he has 5 points in the last 3 games. Seems like he's kind of cemented his spot back in the lineup and on power play one. Look, Klingberg is such a not inconsistent guy, right? Like he'll go on like stretches of like putting up points and then he'll be garbage and get scratched and be demoted
Yeah.
and then he'll come back. So again, this is another one that's like definitely not a season long hold, but a guy has 5 points in 3 games from a defenseman. So I wanted to toss a D on this list. It's definitely an interesting stream for the week.
Yeah. I mean, listen, with Klingberg, I feel like you always have to pay attention to what his deployment is because it feels like every other game is Dmitry Orlov taking a spot on PP1. And if that's the case, I do not want exposure to him.
Yeah.
But as of right now, he's there and he's playing well. And if you need a D, I think there's worse options this week. So
Absolutely. All right, let's
all
go
right.
to
The voice cracking can't
yeah,
keep up with the
I was
numbers.
gonna say.
I'm good now. And
Okay.
let's get into number 5.
Wow, that was like your best one yet. It was,
You know what it is.
killing it. All right, at number 5 we've got Matt Coronado of the Calgary Flames, line one, power play one. Only 3-game week, but I'm really been liking what Coronado's been doing. The pillar of why I would like him on my team is the shots on goal. That's like the floor of like 3+ shots per game. He just shoots unreal. There's like my team currently with all the trades I've made, whatever. Like I'm looking for shots on goal guys, and like I'm looking on waivers, and there's just no one who cracks even like 2.5. And then you get a guy like Coronado who's available in most leagues, and he's getting like some games where he gets like 7 shots. So that's the baseline. He's got the line one, power play one deployment. You follow that money. He got paid in the offseason, and he's been putting up points lately. So all that put together makes a guy who this I think has season long hold potential actually. So I like Coronado a lot for this week, and I like him as a hold to like round out your roster in deeper leagues.
Yeah. The only downside to him, it feels like, is he's on one of the worst power plays in the
Yeah.
league, which is always truly unfortunate. And he only has 3 games compared to most of these guys on this list who have 4 games. So, but he might have the highest potential out of anybody here in terms of being a long-term stay on your roster. I still have in terms of like talking about long-term longevity for Coronado. I feel like I'm still on. I'm still a little bit of a skeptic.
Yeah.
Just because of how good the team is, I think it's not
Or how
that
bad.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
I guess like the way I see it is I don't expect him to be like crazy for points, right? Like he'll be like between
Yeah.
0.6, 0.7, I feel like is a pretty reasonable like spot for him. But if he's getting you like 3.5 shots a game with like 0.65 points, I'm super happy to have that as like rounding out my roster.
I
So
think he's way more
that's what, like-
valuable in categories leagues
Yeah, that's
than in
fair.
points leagues.
Or
because
points
in-
leagues that give a lot of value to shots.
Yeah, exactly. Which I feel like usually for points leagues it's like 0.5 or it's 0.1 depending on the platform that you're playing on.
Yeah.
But I think categories
yeah.
leagues is way more valuable.
Yeah, and pretty much just focusing on the shots on goal. That's what he brings
Yep.
to the table. Any points is just a bonus.
All right, number 4.
All right. I put him out of the top 3 because I didn't want to curse him. I felt bad for Kevin. So I was like, maybe if we don't mention him in our top 3, he won't get injured this week.
Thanks for doing
So
me a solid.
you're welcome. So we've got Josh Norris of the Buffalo Sabres, line 1, power play 1. He's currently day to day, but it's an illness, not an injury. So should be back for next week. The numbers he's putting up are just unreal. I mean, like, if it wasn't for all the injury stuff, this guy would be like 80% owned, you know? So that's why we have to keep mentioning him, even though he keeps getting injured. It's just when he's playing, he's on fire. The points, the power play points, he's averaging 0.8 power play points per game, 1.4 points per game, 2.3 shots. He's getting face-off wins. He's getting hits. It's the health. So fact is, if you can pick him up for the week, and you know in the back of your mind there's a chance he gets injured, but like if he doesn't get injured, he's getting you like 2 points per game and a power play point. So I'm really happy with grabbing Norris and just hoping he can stay healthy.
Literally, from returning from injury, he's averaging a power play point per game. That's nuts. We won't highlight him on the buy low sell high episode that's coming out tomorrow. But if you have Josh Norris, I'm definitely looking at opportunities to sell him. It's tough because he has the reputation of being squishy. He has been squishy, but on the ice this season, he's been exceptional. So if you're looking at the numbers, like they're so high right now that maybe you can use that with some pull and being like, wait for him to come back from his sickness, have a game, and then see what you can get. But yeah, I also just think that he's an exceptional player when he's healthy. He's has top exposure on this team. I'm really excited to have him on my roster, my categories league. So
Yeah,
he could be on yours too if you pick him up.
exactly. You could be just like Kevin.
Yes, we're in this together, guys.
All right, let's go to
Number 3.
At number 3, another surprising name, Ryan O'Reilly of the Nashville Predators. That's the third Nashville guy we're recommending this week. I know it's crazy, but they've just been on fire. 4-game week as well, which is why I feel comfortable recommending so many of them. But over the past month, he's at 0.83 points per game. He doesn't have the best category coverage, unless you're in a face-off win league, in which case he'll win you a ton of face-offs. But it's just Nashville seems to be popping off offensively lately, and that 4-game week combined with the hot streak. Again, like if you're not in a face-off win league, I don't see this as a season-long hold. But for this
What
week,
if he gets traded to
ride the hot
Colorado?
wave. That would be nuts. I do think that like a lot of these Nashville vets should get traded. I don't know if Barry Trotz will make the right choice, but I think a lot of them should and probably will get traded. But we've talked about this in the past, right? You can't pick up a guy and just hold him through the like lows and just hope he gets traded. You know, that's kind of what I'm doing with Dougie Hamilton. But yeah, like you can't really do that. But anyways, for this week, 4-game week, he's on a hot streak, so I definitely feel happy grabbing him.
Yeah, this is purely for points. Like he's the main center on this team right now that is, popping off for points. So I really want him on this 4-game week, but like Josh said, he's not really going to get you much category coverage. So this is way better for your points leagues. And the longevity, I don't know if it's there, but listen, we're not worried about longevity when we're trying to stream week 11. So
yeah. Okay, let's go to
number 2.
I love this guy. I just traded for him. Elias Lindholm of the Boston Bruins, line 1, power play 1, 4-game week. He's been on fire since coming back, over a point per game on the past month, coming back from injury to be clear. And he gets to play with either Pasternak or Geeky or both, which is nuts. And he's just an apple machine. He's not going to score you goals, but he just, he'll pass it to Pasta, he'll pass it to Geeky, and those guys are just unreal goal scorers this year. So I love Lindholm. I'm really surprised he's still so low rostered for what he's been doing. And then in terms of category coverage, he's not the biggest shooter, but like he'll give you like 1.5 shots, 1 hit, 1 block, and like 7 face-off wins. And that's like really solid to like round out like the back end. Like it's nothing, he's not like exceptional in any one of those categories, but the fact that he'll, kind of hit on all of them on any given night is really nice in addition to the over point per game he's been doing the past month.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like he's been a common occurrence on these shows because he's a 1C on a team that is a top 5 power play that is still somehow widely available, right? It's kind of like the same logic that goes behind Josh Norris. Like the deployment is there. He's surrounded by elite talent. He might not be the most elite player. I think Josh Norris is a better player when healthy.
Yeah.
But Josh Norris is not playing with David Pasternak. So
and Morgan Geeky.
And Morgan Geeky. We cannot forget Morgan Geeky.
The GOAT.
I'm geek, baby. But no, I think he's a phenomenal pick on a 4-game week. And also, like, listen, if you're in a categories league, he hits those categories as well. Like, he'll get you some shots, some hits, some blocks. It might not be elite at any of them, but the fact that you're able to hit all three of those from the center position is valuable. And low key, like, listen, depending how deep your league is, and if you're able to hold him long term, Boston's got the best playoff schedule.
Yeah.
Like a
4-4-4.
4-4-4 in weeks 21, 22, 23. So if those are your playoff weeks, it doesn't get much better than that. So
That's why I traded for him.
yeah, Josh traded Sidney Crosby for Elias Lindholm, so he really committed to the bit. David Pastrnak was also involved in that trade. So
yeah, but the centerpiece was definitely Elias Lindholm.
All right, the main pickup this week.
Yeah,
number 1.
At number 1, and this one might be a bit of like, he could be number 2 or 3. I put him number 1 because I was watching like him play, and just the eye test is unreal. Anyways, all that preface for number 1, we've got Josh Doan of the Buffalo Sabres, line 2, power play 1, only 3-game week, but just watching this guy play, I think he's going to be a star, and he's a lock on power play 1. I was worried at some point that, with all the guys healthy, that he would be the odd man out, but it seems like Benson's lower on the power play 1 ranking than Doan is, so I'm not worried about his deployment rest of the season. He's shooting a ton, and honestly, this ties in a lot to the Josh Norris being healthy. When Norris is healthy, that power play is unbelievable. Over the season, that power play is ranked 13th in the league. And that's with Norris being out for a lot of it and them being garbage. So it just shows how good it is when he's in the lineup. Doan is the net front presence, but he is really good at tipping the puck, getting those rebounds. He's got good hands. He's got a good shot. I don't know. Just I'm really hyped on Doan, and I'm actually trying to trade for him in our league.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I mean, super low stakes trade. I'm not trying to send
You're trying
too
to give
much.
Sean Monahan for Josh Doan.
Something along those lines.
Surprise. But yeah, he's the fact that the main thing with Josh Doan's value, because he's been on these shows in the past, and it hasn't usually been this high because he hasn't always been PP1. Like Zach Benson used to have that spot in the past, and that really gave him the edge over Josh Doan. But it seems like ever since Norris came back and Benson came back from injury, I held Benson for so long because I thought he was basically a point per game player in assists. And he had only played 2 weeks, but he was so good during those 2 weeks. He was line 1, PP1, and then he came back and he's line 3, PP2, and I held him for nothing pretty much, which wouldn't have made much of a difference in my matchups if I'm being real, because I had so many injuries at the time, but would have definitely helped to have an extra skater. and looks like Josh Doan is the guy that really hurt his value, because while Benson was hurt, Josh Doan was cementing his presence on the roster, and looks like he's keeping the deployment, and line 2 is fine.
That's 2 Joshes from Buffalo we're recommending in our top 4 this week.
Listen, if it works, it works. But has anything ever gone wrong with recommending Buffalo players? That's my question.
Never.
But
I'm ready to be hurt again.
Yeah, literally. But Josh Doan on PP1 is an exceptional pickup, and he has some long-term stay if this sticks.
For sure.
So that's why we are recommending him. The shots being close to 3 shots a game from a guy with this deployment is also he's basically Coronado, but on a better team.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
And it's crazy to be saying that Buffalo is better than another team, but when you're comparing to Calgary, they are.
The bar is low. But alas, that is our top 10 list. Hopefully these guys are available in your leagues and you're able to go pick them up. These top 3-4 guys I think are better than the rest, but all these guys should be noteworthy.
For the coming
we gave context for them, so make sure that you can fit them in your schedule, and depending on your league format as well, whether it's a categories league or a points league, some of these guys might be better than others. So just do your due diligence. Listen to the episode again. We gave some good insight. And yeah, let's get into our top 5 bangers. So these guys are also less than 40% owned. So, make sure that, first of all, they're available and there's nobody better available that's way higher owned. And these guys, we're really looking to hit the hits category here, hit some blocks, and some shots are a bonus. So
yeah. All right, let's get into
number 5.
I'm actually really excited about this entire top 5.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sometimes
and these guys all look like they're long-term guys.
That's it. Like sometimes we toss in guys who are just a nice streamer for the week with hits and blocks. It's on a 4-game week, but I don't see them having a longevity on your team. All 5 of these I could see being long-term holds and bangers. So at number 5 we have Mark Kastelik of the Boston Bruins, 1.3 shots per game, 2.6 hits, 1 block, and I think his main thing is his PIMs. If you're in a PIMs league, he has over 2 PIMs per game, 4-game week, randomly chipping in on the offense. I think he had a 2-goal game this past week. So I love Kastelic as a bangers guy to round out your roster. He also wins faceoffs from the winger position. So if your league counts that, that's great. And in terms of longevity, Boston, like we said, has one of the best playoff schedules. So if he stays on your roster the whole year, he can win you a bunch of this is again like bangers categories, but he can win you a bunch of bangers categories leagues in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he hasn't really been talked about as a banger this season. Like he's been here and there, but I feel like he's one of the pure banger guys that's going under the radar a little bit right now. But like you said, the playoff weeks are something to keep in mind, and also like he's center right wing as well. So low key that helps you with the roster flexibility. And yeah, he hits all the categories in kind of a balanced way for a forward. Like the
Yeah,
guy's getting over a block a game as a forward. That's noteworthy for a banger stream. So
absolutely.
like you'd be happy to pick up this for a defenseman to stream on a weekly basis. You're able to do it from the forward position. So
Yeah.
some
No,
flexibility there.
he's really nice. Okay, let's get to this next one. This is an exciting one.
Number 4.
At number 4, we have Yakov Trenin of the Minnesota Wild. So I feel like this name's been popping around a bit in the Discord, and people are like, who the hell is this guy? And he's averaging 4.65 hits per game on the season, but lately he's averaging like 7 hits per game. He's looking like he's going to be the next Kiefer Sherwood with a bit with less offensive potential, but in terms of like pure hits, I could see him finishing. I think he's leading the league in hits right now. This is like if you need a hits guy, this is your guy. 4 games this week, and also just long term. Like it's very rare a guy just puts up this number of hits consistently. So he had to be mentioned.
Yeah, and I am playing against him in week 10, and he dropped like 10 hits on me in one game. So pretty happy about that, as you could tell. And you too could drop 10 hits on me if you pick him up. So yeah, I think this, like Josh said, mainly for the hits. The ceiling here is massive. He's basically Kiefer Sherwood without the goal scoring upside.
Yeah.
So if you want that, he's a great option. And plus, maybe Minnesota right now is going to be buzzed up because of the trade and everything like that. So we might see some more energy from this squad, and more energy means more hits for Yakov Trenin.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get to
Number 3.
At number 3, we have my best friend. I picked him up a few weeks ago. He's going to be on my roster for most of the year, I think. And that is Jack McBain of the Utah Mammoth. So he is averaging 1.3 shots, 3.2 hits, zero point 0.8 blocks. He gets faceoff wins from a winger position, and he gets PIMs, 4-game week. Unfortunately, this is the end of those of that streak of Utah having just 4-game weeks back to back to back to back. After this, they only have a 1-game week. So in most leagues, I could see him being dropped. I'm not going to drop him next week for the 1-game week because I'm playing one of the weaker teams in our league, and I just like what he brings to my team. But I definitely won't fault you. But definitely for this week, 4-game week, he's a great banger.
Yeah, similar to Castell, like he's one of the few forwards that are like center left wing, center right wing. McBain is center left wing, and so he'll get you, some shots, over 1 shot a game, some hits, some face-off wins, and close to a block a game. And all of that category coverage, like the points are just the cherry on top at that point. And he could get some points. Like he's done it before.
He
He's
has
done it
3 points this week.
Exactly. So you never really know with these banger guys. Like they could get the points. And 4-game week, this is like a gem that wins you championships when you're playing in like deep categories leagues.
Yeah. And I will say, like, the best way to do this is when you're doing these consolidating trades we've been recommending all year, these 2-for-1s, these 3-for-1s, whatever. You get the best player in the trade, you open up roster spots, and you fill those roster spots with Jack McBains and Mark Kastelics, and that's how you win your Bangers Cats leagues. That's my strategy, at least.
Yeah. It's hard because not all leagues are as deep as ours, so it's tough to make up the points value sometimes when the league is shallower, or it's better to make up the points value when the league is shallower because the replacement value is higher. But in our league specifically, like it's unfair to find you're able to pull those off and then pick up a Jack McBain. So you can follow Josh's advice and also win your championships.
Do it. All right, let's go to
number 2.
At number 2, we have the man who my son is definitely not named after, Ben Sherratt of the Detroit Red Wings. He has a 4-game week. He's been an absolute bangers beast ever since Kevin traded for him, and he's got 1.2 shots, 2.4 hits, 2.4 blocks. This is a season-long hold in a bangers league. He's just killing it at hits and blocks, and I wish I had him on my team. So he's available in most leagues. he's not as big a name as our number one guy, so so he should be available, and just grab him, plug him into your lineup, and you'll be happy the rest of the season.
Yeah, and also just to note that Ben Sherrod is one of the only teams that plays more than 2 games in week 12. So, you know, you got 4 games this week. He's one of the best banger D available on the market right now, which is very impressive what he's able to do and this consistent. Like, I thought it was going to be like, okay, like, you know, those weeks where there's one banger D that gets like 3 shots and 3 hits and 3 blocks, and it lasts like 3 or 4 games, then they just fall off. Like, he's been doing it, not the shots, but he's been doing it for, feels like weeks at this point, maybe over a
it's
month.
been unreal.
So, and Detroit's kind of winning games too. So they got 4 games this week, 3 games the week after that. He's the only player on this top 5 list that we're mentioning that has more than 2 games the week after.
Yeah.
No, so on week 12. So,
but also, like, I just think he's a season long hold. Not, but
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
if you just want him for a stream, then definitely he's a 2-weeker instead of just a 1 week, which is really nice.
Exactly. So I highly recommend picking up Ben Sherrod. If you're in one of those leagues where you just need a banger, like plug and play, don't even think about it. Like, he's one of the best guys for that. Yeah. Along with this next guy at number 1.
At number 1, I don't know how he's still under 40% owned, but we've got Radko Gudas of the Anaheim Ducks. He's averaging 3.7 hits per game, 2 blocks a game, 4-game week. I mean, he's been for years like just the go-to bangers defenseman. Then he starts off the season slow, gets injured. Everyone just decides to forget about him, I guess. And now he's hovering around like 27% owned. And I know there's more than 27% of leagues are bangers leagues. There's just no way that there's so few of us. So it just makes no sense to me that he's so low rostered. Usually he hovers, I feel like, around like high 30s, like low 40s, something like that. But as long as he's under 40, we're going to keep mentioning him and keep telling you to go pick him up. He put up a game this week, 10 hits and 3 blocks. That's just absurd. And that's like, you see that and you're like, that's insane, but like, that's Gudas. You know, he could do that. So it's definitely a great pickup, and that's another season-long hold in bangers leagues.
Yeah, not much to add, honestly. I feel like every week he's number 1 on this list. Until he's going to get to 40%, we're going to have to mention him just because we can't not mention him if he's available in your league. Like, you need to pick him up if you're in a bangers league, specifically bangers categories. Yeah. So I think he's a phenomenal choice. The only difference between him and Sherrod is that, you know, Gudas has the pedigree of been doing it for so much longer. And I mean, to note, if you have a preference and you want to optimize for your ads, in week 12, Gudas has 2 games, Sherrod has 3. So if that's a deal breaker for you and makes you prefer one over the other, then go for it. But alas, both are exceptional choices.
Yeah, honestly, this whole top 5, this is one of the best top 5 bangers we've had all season, I think. Like, all of these guys I could see sticking on a roster long-term in deep leagues. So really hyped about that. But let's move on to the goalies with the top 3 quantity goalies. These are guys who are going to get you 2+ starts, always under 40% owned. So we'll start with.
Let's. How about we just name all 3 and give a conversation, because I feel like there's very little.
You don't like having the ranking.
The ranking feels disingenuous here because I just feel like there's a lot of context that goes with goalies and just depends on the matchup. But so how about we list the 3 of them?
Yeah, okay. So the 3 guys we're talking about in no particular order, but anyways, from 3 to 1, we've got John Gibson of the Detroit Red Wings, we've got Carter Hart of the Vegas Golden Knights, and we've got Brandon Bussey of the Carolina Hurricanes.
So I think the Bussey, Brandon the
I'm getting wrecked by the Bussey this week. It's actually insane.
Jakey picked up the Bussey and is playing him against Josh. So there you have it. We listen to our own advice. But the Bussey's been popping off. And listen, he is probably getting 2 games at least this upcoming week. Now
he's the starter. It's crazy.
He's starting most of the games he's playing in a row. Like, he's playing the games in a row, which for Carolina is basically unheard of, given they have 3 goalies that they're holding at any given moment.
At this point, Freddie's toast. Like, he's not getting like any games. It's pretty much
a 2-goalie tandem. He hasn't played bad. He's just like been playing worse than the other guys. Yeah, and he's healthy.
I mean, they're just not giving him starts. So like, I think like,
why would they when the Bussy's going off?
I know he's not rosterable. Freddie is not rosterable. Like, unless like he's confirmed to start the next day and you want him as a 1-day pickup. Yeah. But like, he's not rosterable. Bussy's the main guy. Kachetkov, I still don't see how he doesn't overtake Bussy as the 1A over the course of the season. But if Bussy keeps doing what he's doing, then he's going to keep getting the starts. Like 0.91 wins per game. So pretty much, I think he's won 10 out of 11 of the games he's played. He's getting, the one thing with Carolina goalies, they get very few shots, so he doesn't get the most saves. But his save percentage, 0.909 over the course of his 11 games.
It's very good.
It's nuts. Yeah.
Very good. He's not letting many goals. Like, his goals against average is right over 2. When I say right over 2, it's like 2.07.
Yeah.
So that's just disgusting. 0.9 wins. That's just this is not sustainable. First of all, like if you're picking
Yeah.
him up, thinking like this is gonna be forever, it's not. Like I can see him falling down to like 0.7, 0.65 in that range. But Carolina is a good team. They're always contending for the title, and they've been begging for a guy to just run away with this job. It's been Anderson, it's been Kochetkov. Neither of them can stay healthy. Both of them kind of play better when they're splitting starts, it kind of feels like. And then both of them get hurt. And then you got the Bussy out of nowhere just coming out here being like, I can take the workload and give you some quality.
Yeah.
So he might be the saving grace for Carolina. And listen, if this
And for a lot of
continues,
0G teams.
yeah, absolutely. The thing is, he's not going to get a lot of saves. He'll get you around 20 saves a game, which, depending on the league scoring for you, if you get points for saves, how many? If he's a lot of leagues have like 0.2 for saves. That means one goal against is 5 saves. If he's letting in 2 goals, that's 10 saves. So you can get like 2 points plus the win. That's like a 6-point average for a goalie if your wins are like 4 points. So that's not too bad, and you can rely on the wins. And they're playing Nashville, which should be a win, and then they have a back-to-back of Florida and Tampa later in the week. And listen, both games, Carolina, both of those games are winnable. So
Yeah, that's it. It's
I
not
think
easy matchups on that back-to-back, but
yeah.
Carolina could beat anyone. And then talking quickly about Hart and Gibson. Hart, I mean, we've talked about a lot. He's
Mm-hmm.
pretty clearly, I think, the starter on Vegas until
Yep.
Hill comes back, and everything I've been seeing is Hill's out long-term.
He didn't play against Philly, which people were kind of worried about, but then don't forget, like that was his old team, and they were not too
I think
thrilled about his situation. So
exactly. I think that it was very clearly like they chickened out. And they were like, we don't want to have to deal with, the
they were like,
fans
Carter Hart
booing
really wanted to
him
play, but management decision.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Hart's definitely the starter. And if you can pick up the starter for Vegas for the foreseeable future, and also when Hill comes back, if Hart's been playing well, I don't think Hart's demoted to a full 2. He could be a 1B. He could be the 1A over, he doesn't have that much competition is what I'm trying to say. So this is a no-brainer pickup. And then with Gibson, that one I'm like, he's hot right now, so grab him while you can. They have 2 back-to-back, so he's guaranteed 2 games. But I'm not buying him as a season-long savior for the 0G teams.
Yep. So in for this particular week, definitely prefer Bussy the most, then Hart, then Gibson. But it just depends on your league and who's available, right? But all 3 of these guys are great options.
Yeah. And let's go to the top 3 quality goalies. These are guys who are going to guarantee get you one good matchup start this week. Well, guarantee getting you one matchup. We're predicting it's going to be good. So we've got. So you don't want to do a 3-2-1? You want me to just say all the names?
Yeah, let's okay. This one we'll do 3-2-1. Here, how about that? I know you really want to do it.
Yeah, I like when you say the number in the funny voice.
All right, funny. It's
Sorry,
a deep,
in the
menacing
sick
voice.
Yeah, in the deep, menacing voice.
I can hear my vocal cords struggling right now. So,
that's why you didn't want to do it. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I see.
All right, at number 3.
At number 3, we have Ville Husso of the Anaheim Ducks. They've got Lucas Dostal coming back, so he's no longer the starter, but they've got 2 back-to-backs this week, so he's going to get you 2 starts. The matchups are Rangers and Columbus on one back-to-back, and then Dallas and Columbus on the other. So Rangers-Columbus, I'm happy with either of those, specifically because the Rangers one is at Madison Square Garden, and they're just awful at home this year. So whether he gets Rangers or Columbus, I love that one. Dallas-Columbus, I'm not starting him against Dallas, but if he gets that Columbus game, I absolutely love it. So, I mean, obviously, like, you can start him against Dallas if you need just, like, the volume, but, like, probably going to get shelled. But, yeah, so at the very least, at the start of the week, he's going to get a solid matchup, and then possibly a second solid matchup if they put him against Columbus.
Yeah, I think Columbus is not a dumpster fire right now. It feels like they're playing well until the last 5 minutes of the third period. So that's really sad for them. But Husso, I feel like, has been okay while Dostal has been out. So maybe Dostal coming back and alleviating the load a little bit will help him out.
Yeah.
Either way, if you need one good game, like, he's a viable option.
Yeah. Let's go to
number 2.
At number 2, we have Jonathan Quick of the New York Rangers. This is another team that has 2 back-to-backs, obviously, because they've got a 5-game week. So he's got Anaheim and Vancouver so one of those 2 in the first back-to-back, and then Philly, Nashville, the second one. All 4 of those teams are teams I'm happy to go against. I know we just recommended Husso as a goalie against the Rangers, but that doesn't necessarily mean I think Anaheim's a scary team either. It just means that Rangers at home aren't great. But if he gets Vancouver, that team's a mess. They just traded away their best player and got, good futures, but present nothing much. So that's an easy matchup. And then Philly, Nashville, both easy matchups. So I definitely like Quick as honestly 2 good matchup starts this week.
Yeah, and honestly, Jonathan Quick is always up there when I want to stream like one game because he always seems to deliver. It feels
Yeah.
like no matter the matchup, no matter the
You want to hear
situation of the team.
his stats on the season?
Please tell me.
He's averaging 28 saves a game. His goals against average is 1.86, and his save percentage is 0.937. That's absolutely disgusting. As a guy you can just pick up for a one game and flip like all your goalie categories and then just drop him, that's really nice.
Exactly. And listen, this Rangers team is looking for some wins. Like they're not as bad as they were in the beginning of the season. They're still not, I think, at full form. And the matchup, the schedule this week, I feel like is very generous for them. Like they're playing, he's going to be playing either Anaheim, which honestly we know Anaheim can win games, but I'm never scared when my team goes to play Anaheim. Then Vancouver, who just traded away their best player. So he might get one of those two games, which is great. And then you could get him, honestly, he could be a quantity guy too. Like you
That's
know
what
what they're
I'm
going to
saying,
get two starts. Then Philly is easy and Nashville is easy. So
yeah.
listen, I don't want to say Philly is easy and then they ended up losing to Philly, but I
Look,
think they
we say what the historic has been. If there's an upset, the league has a lot of parity. You know, you can't predict the
Yeah.
future, unfortunately. But it's a really good pickup. And let's get to our top one, which is.
Ooh,
I was trying to find a way to say it without saying the word one, but
but then you said it.
I know. Yeah, at number one, we've got Casey DeSmith of the Dallas Stars. He's going to play either San Jose or Anaheim. And honestly, I really love what DeSmith has been doing this year as just like kind of like similar vein as Quick, except better, where he's just like anytime Dallas has a back-to-back, I'm like, oh, I would love to stream DeSmith for this back-to-back, especially with easy matchups like this because it's Dallas, right? They're unreal. And then DeSmith has just been doing what he needs to do. 26 saves per game, 2.23 goals against average, 0.92 save percentage. Those are great numbers. So I'm very happy to stream DeSmith for this game.
Yep, he's on one of the best teams in the league, playing in front of one of the best defensive units and forward units. Like this guy is always going to be poised for a win, and he's put up good stats when needed as well. Like we've seen him, come in for Ottinger in the past. This is two tantalizing matchups as well that Dallas will be heavily favored in. There's a lot worse options this week, so
yeah. So that wraps up our week 11 streamers. I think that was a great one. There's so many good names out there, and it's a really fun time to be making pickups, especially with all the craziness going on in the league. Should I try and do this? This follow us on. Follow us
you want to go for it?
Yeah, I'll try. I never get to do this part. I'm gonna butcher it, but follow us on. Check us out on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're on Discord. We're on the other one and
all the other stuff.
All the ones. We're
TikTok,
everywhere.
Instagram, YouTube.
Yes.
Guys, just subscribe, drop us a follow.
Yeah, I
thought I was setting you up to continue.
Yeah, I know. I just I literally have
he choked under the pressure.
In the years of us doing this, well, 2 years, year and a half. I've never been the one to say this part of the episode, so I did not prepare properly. It's a lot harder than it seems.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
Yeah, honestly.
But guys, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. Thanks for rocking with us. Honestly, we really appreciate all the support we've been seeing. It means a lot to us, and big things coming in the future. So if you want to be on the train for that, get on the boat. Boat's going up. Rocket ship's going up.
Boat turns into rocket ship, and
yeah, exactly. Follow us where you can. Subscribe. Leave us a like. Leave us a rating. Honestly, the biggest thing though is if you're not following us on wherever you're listening to this, that's the biggest thing. Like we definitely want to grow and reach more of the community. So that's that. And I guess take it away, Ernie.
Bow banger management fantasy hockey podcast. Whoa.
Woo for Jakey.
Yeah.